I'm a lion, test my pride. Standing like a mountain, devil rises high. Oh, how to back down, how to back down. No, I don't know how to back down, how to back down. No, I don't know how to back down, how to back down.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a hell of a day today. Got probably a couple of inches of rain overnight, and of course the basement is flooding this morning. I woke up first thing, checked it. Of course the corner's flooding again, and so this morning has just been all about trying to correct that because we thought that we had fixed the issue with it flooding previously. We thought it was because the gutters were clogged. It turns out that the piping that connects to the down thingies of our gutters is not getting the water away from the house. It's the kind that has a bunch of little holes in it because it's meant to let the water seep out into the ground, but it's seeping out into the ground right by the house, by the basement. So we went and got some different ones that didn't have holes to help get the water away from the house, and hopefully that fixes the issue. So I've moved the trainer setup over into this other room in the basement just because I don't want to be over there because water's still coming in because it's still raining. I'm supposed to be riding for 3.5 hours today, and my plan was to ride for 4 hours on the trainer today until this entire disaster happened. I decided to get back on Zwift today because today's my day where I don't have super specific training to do. I did a video a couple of weeks ago where I talked about how I do 2-hour trainer rides, and quite a few people were actually surprised that I wasn't on Zwift. When I'm doing structured workouts, I have no reason to do Zwift because sure, I can do the structured workouts in Zwift, but there's nothing else that I'm gaining as an advantage to that. So I'd prefer just to do them on Trainer Road because I just care about the numbers, about the data, and I have Trainer Road year round. But Zwift is so good for days like today when there's no structured workout and I want to ride like I'm riding outdoors, but I can't because the roads are flooded, there's debris everywhere, it's just chaos outside. But I can jump on my trainer, get on Zwift, and feel like I'm riding outdoors in the virtual world. I'm also running Zwift on my Android tablet, which back when I Zwifted earlier this year, that wasn't even an option. They didn't have their Android app out yet. So I'm giving it a try. So far, my little girl is barely moving her legs. I don't remember making my Tron bike pink. That does not sound like something I would do. So since I haven't been on Zwift since the spring, there's some new areas. I figured that's where I was gonna start my ride, just something different.
How to back down, how to back down. I am a fighter. I am a fighter. I am a fighter. I am a fighter, fighter, fighter. Got no limits, I got no.
That ride was pretty brutal by the end, but it felt good to get the 4 hours down. I take a break once an hour, get off, refill my water bottle, walk around, just try to stay a little bit loose. But now that that ride's over with, I want to try this protein ice cream recipe I found on someone else's channel. I'll link it down below. This is the first time I've ever made it, so I'm actually only making half the recipe. Like, I've cut it in half, so let's see how this turns out. It's like healthy protein ice cream.
Got my blood, my sweat, and my tears. Know how to back down, how to back down.
I think I added too much water. It's not bad though. It just needs a little bit more taste to it. It's kind of plain. I added some chocolate syrup and chocolate PB Fit to the top of it. The PB Fit helps a ton. I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have halved the protein ice cream recipe. Next time I'll make the full thing and see what happens, because I'm thinking because of the xanthan gum that it still expanded the same amount, but it had less ingredients, so it had less flavor. I still have high hopes for that recipe. Give it a try and let me know if you do and how it tastes. Okay, it's a little loud in here right now because we got the dehumidifier and the fan running, but This side of the basement has mostly returned back to normal today. Today, I'm getting back into Zwift for probably about a 3-hour ride. Now, this is the really cool thing about Zwift, is that if you're needing a reason to ride, Zwift can definitely give you that. For example, today starts the 2020 tour of Zwift, and so I'm actually going to get in there and do stage 1. This year you can actually do the tour of Zwift as like a group ride, or they actually have separate races now. So if you're struggling to find a reason to jump on the trainer and ride your bike, the tour of Zwift, and just they always have something going on. There's always group rides, there's always something to help give you a little bit of extra reason, motivation to get on the trainer. You know, commit to doing the tour of Zwift if you're having an issue like consistently riding right now just because you're burnt out or you're bored or whatever it is. By the way, that noise that you're hearing right now, that's the sump pump running. That's what it sounds like. I was pretty smashed after yesterday's 4-hour ride, so I don't know if I took the time to explain my thoughts on Zwift running on my Android tablet, since that was the first time I'd ever done it. It actually ran extremely well. I was really satisfied with it, and it just kind of uncomplicates a little bit of things for my setup. And so I really enjoyed it. Didn't have a lot of issues with the sensors. The only issue that I really had with Zwift on the laptop is that it is such a huge drain on the battery that there's no way I could have done the whole 4 hours on just the battery. I had to plug it up, and it was barely keeping up at that point. But my tablet is not very well known for its battery life, so that could have also been a part of it as well. Headband's looking a little rough after yesterday. Feeling a little rough after yesterday, but it's all good. Here we go. The tablet's having a tough time with all those people. So the plan for the ride is to warm up for 15 minutes, zone 3 for 30, and then zone 2 for the rest of the ride. I've already like attacked and bridged to a group. This is why sometimes I get distracted with Zwift. So pretty much finishing stage 1 the same time that my zone 3 interval was done. So now for the rest of the ride, I'm just gonna ride zone 2. What's a little weird is that I signed up for the A group, which is a longer distance, but it started me in the B group. Not sure why Zwift did that. So about every hour, I like to stop, get off the bike, grab a new water bottle, and just kind of walk around just for a minute, stretch, loosen up. That's how I try to get through these long trainer rides. I mentioned that on my video where I talked about doing 2-hour trainer rides. Obviously, when you're going 3 and 4 hours, I think it becomes even more important. That's a wrap on the Zwift workout today. I ended up doing 2 hours and 45 minutes. Pretty tired from yesterday, actually, and kind of hungry. But I want to say that the way that I make time pass when I'm Zwifting is kind of using the route to do that. So I didn't talk much yesterday because honestly 4 hours on the trainer I was kind of trash, but this is basically how I always do Zwift, especially with long rides, is that I use the terrain. So I was in Watopia yesterday, so I like to go and ride like the big KOM climb to kill time because I know that that's going to allow a lot of time to pass. Do that, come down the descent, ride a little bit of the flats, maybe go over to like the volcano. It's just constantly like thinking, okay, I'm gonna go do this climb or I'm gonna go do this section. And by the time that section is over with, some time has passed, and that helps kind of like tick down the time. I also use a bit of my nutrition strategy to help time pass. I've been eating chews. I like chews a lot. And like I'll eat one and then I'll be like, okay, in 10 minutes I'll eat another. You kind of don't really focus on the clock too much because you're busy watching what's going on in Zwift or watching YouTube or whatever your entertainment is, but it's just one more thing to just kind of like trick my mind to be distracted from the overall time frame that I'm dealing with. Instead of being like, I've got 3 hours to go, it's like, oh, in 10 minutes I'm gonna eat a chew. All right, so I have remade the protein ice cream today. As you can see, this is a huge bowl. This is less than 300 calories. So I think what I messed up yesterday is that I used half the ingredients, but it still made the same amount of volume. So it tasted a little bit more dull. There's no way I can eat this entire thing of ice cream, but if you had real ice cream, this would be like 3,000 calories, not 300. I'm really starting to think the protein ice cream is not for me because that's about all that I could eat It's a little bit more than half left still, and it is just so filling. I'm about to explode. It's just too much. I've got this spare room in my house. It's kind of a strange room because it has no windows, but it has a closet. And the people who originally built the house, I think they made this room just to be a tanning bedroom because it had a 240 volt outlet. So now I just kind of like keep some stuff in it and that's it. But I think I'm going to change it up a little bit and turn it into kind of like a cool little, like I want to say studio, but not exactly that. Like I bought some shelves from IKEA and I want to display like my trophies and my medals and make it like a pretty cool area to shoot some video footage when I need to, you know, just sit down and discuss a topic or something like that. But I'm going to paint this room and start getting the shelves mounted and just doing some stuff like that. And I figured since this room is eventually gonna be shown on the channel that I would kind of show you guys my progress. So right now the first step is really to just clean it up and then to decide on a paint color. Hopefully it'll turn out really cool in the videos. That's gonna be it for today's video. I think that is all my tips that I have for doing a specific ride on Zwift and surviving long sessions on Zwift. Almost 7 hours in it over the weekend, which is too much. But if you guys like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and I'll see you on the next one.
No, how to back down.